Previously on the Stormythology series.
After the X-Men are quickly captured and drained by the living island Krakoa, Xavier turns to his colleague on Muir Island, Mara McTaggart, and to her reluctance recruits her eager mutant students. Xavier telepathically trains them and inducts them as X-Men, and sends the team straight away to Krakoa to find and save all the X-Men. They manage to find and save only Cyclops, but they are struck down when they attempt to save the rest of the team members of the X-Men. Xavier uses his powers to both wipe Cyclops' mind of their murder, and even augment Cyclops' memories of the series of events. Xavier has become obsessed with rescuing his now famous X-Men, and he has begun recruiting replacements for his slaughtered students from across the globe. He successfully gathers Nightcrawler from Germany, Wolverine from Canada, and an Irish Interpol agent living in Nashville, Tennessee, Banshee. And now, 3 days after the X-Men are captured, he lands in East Africa, in the Kingdom of Wazuri, Kenya.
Covertly, Xavier watches from the valley of Mount Kilimanjaro as men from villages near and far procession to an ancient stone portal. With their voices raised in praise and song, one elder cries above all others. Ororo, great goddess of the storm, he calls, come unto us and ease our burden. And with the hollow peal of thunder, the moan of lonely winds, and a flash of living lightning, the storm goddess descends. In a bellowing, echoing voice, the goddess Ororo asks the men, which she now calls her children, what they wish of her. The men make a plea for the goddess to save their land and cattle from drought. 10 goats and 10 chickens shall we slay in your name, if only you would bring the rain. The plea reminds Goddess Ororo of the Maasai tribesmen which found her on the Serengeti years ago, and she tells her children to save their sacrifices. They need the cattle more than she does. And Goddess Ororo lifts her hands, and once more the howling winds rise and sweep her away like an ebon bird, miles into the sky. With lightning lancing from her fingertips and the glow of life shining full upon her face, she commands the rain to fall, and the sky obeys its mistress. When she returns to the earth at last, the people leap with praise at her glory. A most impressive display. She could hear a voice say in her head, truly beautiful. When she finds Xavier, who seems to appear out of nowhere, Ororo is speechless. She remembers him. She remembers the day she stole his wallet in the streets of Cairo, Egypt. Then, she was only a 7-year-old, recently orphaned princess being raised by Ahmed el-Jabbar, the best thief in all of Egypt. She remembers this man chasing her and somehow freezing her in place, and the attack he seemed to suffer as she escaped. Now he appears before her in a wheelchair. Had she caused some misfortune to this man that day? Was he here for vengeance? What business have you in my lands? She speaks sharply with Xavier, her voice echoing with the electricity of the air. Xavier says that he has come to make her an offer, one which he prays she will not refuse. An offer, Ororo hisses. What have you to offer, a goddess? And thunder rolls above, and lightning strikes afar, echoing Ororo's cynicism. You have a land, Ororo, he tells her, and a people who love, adore, and even worship you. Yet, I have come to offer you the world. Outside your kingdom, the world is not so beautiful. The people are not as unquestioning. In fact, the people of the world may even hate and fear you, but they need you nonetheless. You are no goddess, Ororo Munroe. You are a mutant with vast mutant abilities, and thus you have responsibilities that are far greater than yourself and far bigger than just Africa. What I offer, Ororo, is a chance to taste the world outside. Come with me to America, child. In New York, you may find its flavor bitter or surprisingly sweet. She considers his words, and Ororo takes a long look at Xavier. Seeing him in this wheelchair takes her mind to another time, and suddenly her thoughts are flooded by images of a past life. A life she had worked hard to detach herself from and to forget. For 3 years after she met Xavier, 10 years old Ororo was an expert thief. And one fateful day in the Tomb of Apocalypse, the cursed stone guardian named Ozymandias showed Ororo a prophecy. Ozymandias' stone prophecy revealed that Ororo was destined to soar on the wings as a savior of her people. Back then, Ororo's only people were the urchins she was raised with in Ahmed El-Jabbar's Den of Thieves. But today, she has her own kingdom. And more than just the ruler of her family's hidden kingdom, more than just the current Wind Rider, Ororo was a goddess, worshipped and celebrated all over Africa by her people. Before this very moment, Ororo thought meeting the Dirt Witch Inet and becoming the great goddess of storms and rain was the fulfillment of her self-appointed destiny. But if that was so, why does the man from Ozymandias' stone prophecy now appear before her, offering her a chance at things she had only prayed in secret to the bright lady about? And now suddenly her mind is flooded with visions of her mother, Princess Nader. For secretly, just like her mother, Ororo had begun to become extremely curious about the world outside of her village. And moreover, the same irresistible urge she felt at 12 to take a 1,000-mile journey on foot to Kenya, and again at 17 after her painful breakup with T'Challa, Ororo has felt that same urge to journey to America. And this man from a moment in her past, this Xavier, offers her a chance to join him in America. Most specifically, New York, the land of her father, David Munroe. Ororo tells Xavier that he does present a most peculiar argument, yet she senses the deep sincerity of his words. Manipulating the electricity in the air, Ororo makes her voice echo, and in a thunderous voice, she makes a declaration to everyone in the valley. Perhaps it is time for the storm goddess to finally leave her loneliness. Xavier permits Ororo to return to her hut, her home with her adopted mother Einette, but he urges that they must leave most immediately.